Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Reconnect Your Workplace webinar. I think you might have been hear me practice already in the background. There was a technical issue, but I'm happy that you're all here. I see that we have quite a diverse crowd today. I even see people from Australia, so that's really cool. I'm happy to host this webinar today for the second time this year, and I feel honored to do this time in collaboration with Spark and Temi. Today we will tell a bit more about the future office. In the past month, a lot has changed due to COVID-19. People have been working from home, and not only the work environment, but also the meaning of the office has changed. Today we'll take a deep dive into the new normal office environments and talk about the importance of a workplace experience and a strong connection strategy. Before we start, I would like to give a bit more information about the functionalities of Zoom. You might have noticed that there are a few Zoom controls. You can raise your hand, for example. I saw it already. Somebody raised their hand before. If you have any question, you will note that there is also a Q&A button. Please feel free to add questions here. Some of the questions will be answered during the sessions. Others will be addressed at the end. And others will be addressed offline. But rest assured, all will be dealt with. We are here with the full team to answer all your questions. Also good to know, you will automatically receive a link to download these proceedings, and we plan to share this presentation as well after the webinar. So for today, we have a really exciting program for you. We're going to start with an introduction from Temi. Jeroen is going to introduce Temi and tell more about what the social robot can do for your office. Then we're going to continue with Spark. Nicole is going to tell something about why it is important to strengthen your office experience with people and robots. And as last, Roent will tell more about the continuous improvement of social robotics and why you should deploy robots as a service. Last but not least, we have the live Q&A in the end. So please feel free to address all your questions in the Q&A. And we will answer them or through the chat or maybe even at the end during the live Q&A session. Jeroen, I would like to start with your presentation. So if you're ready, you can start. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Jeroen. I'm the CMO of Temi, the personal robot. And I'm happy to join you today in the webinar about the future of work. Before I go into my presentation, since we are speaking about the future of work, I want to show you a live example of how I am connecting to my robot in the office, in our office in China. You can see here, this is the system that Temi uses, the Temi Center, to control a fleet of robots and also to manage everything regarding the device. So I'm now going into the robot that's in the office in Shenzhen, China. Okay, you can see it here. This is the map of the office. And I'm going to call directly into it and show you how I'm actually hopping into the office. And in just a second, you'll see that we're there. Okay, so we are in the office right now. You can see, you can see some people walking around. Using my mouse, every point that I click will put that point in the center of the frame. Okay, so you can see I'm turning around. You can see the meeting room here. Okay, here I am. Some people are in a meeting, and I can travel freely around the office as much as I like. Okay, I can speak to people. I can attend meetings. This is a significant difference than setting up a Zoom call or a phone call like we know today. This is more actually showing your presence in the office physically, just like you just came there today. There is the list of locations on the bottom, just like you see in the map. I can click on any location and Temi will actually go there. I can show you just as an example. I will click the meeting room, which is very close. Okay, and you will see that Temi is moving from the home base to the meeting room. Oh, and we'll just stop for a second, and I can stop it at any time. Let's say hello to someone at the office, maybe. Let's see. Hello, Zamir, my friend. How are you? Okay, good to see you. Yeah, I can even trigger a follow mode. Okay, if I click this button, I actually start following Zamir without him having to do anything. So right now we are both hands-free, having a meeting in the office. Okay, I'm in Tel Aviv in Israel. Zamir is in the office in Shenzhen, China, and it's very convenient for us to speak and meet. He can show me the things around the office. And yeah, this is the future is now. Okay, Zamir, thank you very much. We'll speak later. Okay, so this is a perfect example of how using temi, you can actually hop into any location that you are a member of a temi and actually engage the closest possible to actually being there. Okay, it's a big difference from what we know today. If it's a Zoom call or a regular phone call, this is actually a higher level of communication and engagement. Okay, so let's speak a little about temi and how it actually came to life. So around 5 years ago, the founder of temi, his name is Yossi Wolf. He came from the defense industry, making life-saving robots for soldiers and military operations. And his grandmother was not feeling so well, and he kept offering her some products like a walking stick or a regular assistant product for elderly care, and she didn't want anything related. She said, "Why don't you make me a robot?" And this gave him the idea of actually making the robot and moving to the more civilian market. And this, with an evolution of models and all kinds of solutions, brought temi to life. And today, temi is actually offering service and assistance in many sectors around the world. It's the first personal robot in the world that actually works as promised, has the full indoor navigation fully solved and with the best user experience. And of course, one of the most important things, it's cost effective and affordable compared to any products similar to that in the world today. A bit about the places where temi is operating today. So other than offices, which is a huge sector today, especially post-COVID-19, people want to re-engage with their work staff, and of course to allow the guests and people that are in the office to feel more comfortable. Other than this, today we are also well deployed in retail spaces, hospitality, like hotels, restaurants, education, of course, healthcare is a big sector for security and even for the home. And you can see in this short video right now a bit about how temi is operating in each one of these sectors.
Hi, welcome to temi.
So what's so special about the technology of temi? We've been working for a long time making temi what it is today, and of course a lot of money invested into the project as well. So temi consists of two main computers. The upper computer, which you can see, the tablet is an Android-based tablet. It's a custom. It can be customizable using temi's SDK. So actually, any developer that knows how to develop Android applications, that knows some about the SDK, can actually create an application and create a custom application for any business. If it's a bank, for example, and the bank would like to have a special application for the staff of the bank, it can be a very custom application for that bank, or any other use case. So if it's a big office, like with 100 branches, like Ernst & Young, for example, they can have their own Ernst & Young application of temi, serving all of their offices worldwide, as an example. And this is the upper screen. It comes with out-of-the-box features, of course, such as YouTube, music, has a great sound system, and many useful things. And the lower computer, where you see down there, next to the LiDAR, which is one of the most important sensors of temi for the mapping, is the lower computer. It's the Robux navigation system, which is mostly holding the navigation algorithms and software used for the indoor navigation. And together as a package with the 16 different sensors and cameras on temi, from a 3D camera, a depth camera, a LiDAR, a proximity sensor, a time of flight sensor, all of this causes the perfect indoor navigation experience for this device. A bit about the temi deployment today. So temi is deployed in thousands of units today worldwide. It was fully launched into the public recently, I would say about 2 years ago. Today, it's a fully customer-ready functional robot being used by the top companies in the world. Just as an example, companies like Apple and Google are using temi to allow their workers to connect remotely and to engage between worldwide offices. If a worker from Boston wants to visit the team in New York or the team in other countries in the world, in Europe, okay, they can very easily do it by just how I showed you today that I'm connecting to the China office. Other companies are also using it to simplify the whole check-in process of guests or even workers at the beginning of the day. And of course, when they're leaving, they can also use it to show where the sanitation area is if needed, and also to provide information like where is the office or a meeting room that I need to go to. And temi will actually escort you to this room and notify the person that you are coming. You'll see this shortly. And other use cases that are mainly now in the office environment, other than the work employees engagement and welcoming guests, also in the office, announcements and deliveries of mail, for example. It can also deliver drinks or other papers of sort, and of course go between the people and offer announcements or reminders or special occasions. So this is a temi center. This is the place where you actually manage temi and can control over all of its features and the customizations. Starting from controlling temi remotely, just like we saw, I can drive it to locations. I can see the whole map of the area that I'm going into, which is, for example, the office in China or any other office. Sequences is where you can create automations without having to actually code. So I can tell temi every day at 8 a.m., go around the office, say good morning, and remind people to drink a glass of water, for example. And you can take it to many other places. Greet mode is out-of-the-box feature that comes with temi. It also combines face recognition into it. So in your office, if temi is always standing in the entrance and can be there autonomously 24/7, it can go charge itself and come back. So when people come in, it can differentiate between certain workers of the office or guests, and can treat them differently. If it's a guest, they can ask them, hello, welcome to the office. Who did you come to meet? And escort them to the place. And if it's a worker of the office, they can say, good morning, how are you? Or just, greet them in the morning. The home screen is the temi's default home screen, where it can be fully customized through the temi center. You can actually put the physical buttons there, or any wallpaper or picture that you choose. Temi's map is fully configured through Temi Center. You can create virtual worlds, places where you don't want Temi to go. You create certain paths, we call it green lines, where you prefer Temi to actually travel around the office. But even without those, Temi will always navigate smoothly without hitting any obstacle on the way, using its sensor and algorithms. And most important, you can take this map, you can back it up, you can send it to other robots, and you can reuse it all the time. So you don't have to remap anytime you want to add units or do something with the map. And you can fully manage the contact if it's the all of the employees of the office, or even additional contacts, to actually have a way to call into the robot, or even custom. You can choose robot and system they can actually control, edit, or customize. Now I want to show you a short video of a use case of Temi greeting people in the office and escorting them to the right place. And here it is in the following video.
La 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 שלום, ברוכים הבאים למשרדי וואן. בואו אחריי. שמחתי לעזור, שתהיה פגישה נעימה.
Okay, so it was great to be here today and to explain about the future of work with the Temi, the personal robot. As said, we are just starting. There are a lot of demand and many use cases that are being developed in this industry on Temi today. And I will be happy to see you later for the question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Jeroen. It was really cool also to see the demonstration in China. A really nice presentation, so thank you for today. So next we have Nicole. Nicole is going to tell more about why you need to strengthen your office experience and how you can do that with people and robots. I think she has a really exciting presentation for you. So it's up to you, Nicole.
Thank you, Dominique, for introducing me today. It's really nice to do this webinar in collaboration with Temi and WELBO. And first, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicole Hoppenbrouwers. I work as a business consultant at Spark, and my passion is innovation, and especially in facility management. Something more about Spark. It is a company of Randstad, and we combine the experience of human capital and the expertise of high-end reception services. And we strongly believe that an excellent office experience makes companies more successful. And it's not only what we believe, but we also did some serious research about it. Spark, now some facts and figures, I'm sorry. We have 400 customers, in many have multiple locations. We have about 800 employees. And our key branches are corporate hospitality, healthcare, and government. And the key services of Spark They include reception, facility service desk, and handyman services. And we have been in business for more than 30 years already. And we also work with robots, I think, about 3 years. So I would like to introduce the next video to you.
Goedemorgen, wij hebben de Rabobank. Er is een afspraak. Klopt inderdaad. Mag u zich even aanmelden bij mijn collega?
Dag mevrouw. Wilt u zich misschien aanmelden bij de Rabot?
Ja, leuk.
Hallo kijkers. Ik ben Rabot. Samen met de gastvrouw verzorg ik de aanmelding. Ik stuur een bericht naar de medewerker dat de gast is gearriveerd en vraag wat de gast wil drinken.
Leuk dat u hier bent. Wij zijn benieuwd naar uw ervaring. Zou je die met mijn collega willen delen?
Samen met de gastvrouw ontvang ik nieuwe collega's op de eerste van de maand. Ze vragen wat ze van de onboarding vonden.
Precies, mevrouw Hoppenbrouwers. Zo dadelijk als u uitrijdt, dan gaat de slagroomplek voor u open.
Ja, fijn, dankjewel.
Wel thuis.
Tot ziens. Fijne dag.
I told you that we believe that an excellent office experience makes companies more successful, and that is not only what we believe, but it's what we did some really serious research about. So let me tell you something more of this research. It is a research of SPARK, and we interview corporate hospitality service companies, and we do that on an annual basis. It's performed by an independent party named Market Response, and we have performed this research about 5 times from 2009 until now. And the subject of this research is looking through the future in reception services, and we have 3 themes. The first one is the office of the future, the second one is sustainability, and the third one is technological innovation. It's not a surprise that we do this in collaboration with WELBO, of course. So some lesson about the way we look at hospitality. I use this model to tell you more about it, and it's all about exceeding expectations. So when you have to create a memory, you have to do more than what somebody expects. And when you see this picture and you go to the left side, you see the expectation. And on the right hand, you have your identity. It tells you something about the values of your company, of the culture. So when the expectations and the identity are the same, it's really fine. But it's not a thing you will remember. When you do less than that, you are going to complain about it, and you are a little bit dissatisfied. And when you do more than you expect and you remember it, it touches you and you can make a memory. And that's what the vision of SPARK is, that we want to create a memory. We want to build an excellent experience, and then you have to do something that you will remember. The 3 bullets you see, the environment, most people are paying attention to the environment. It's really an important thing, but it won't make the biggest difference in experience. You see the process, and it's a thing that has more influence on your experience. And when you look at the collaboration between WELBO and SPARK, That's the part we are very strong, because the human being and the robot, they interact to each other and they make each other stronger. So it has more influence on my experience. And then on the top of the figure, you see people, and that's the part you will make, you will remember the most. When you have a rainy day and everything is going not the way you want, but you have a real warm, friendly welcome in a building, and you have someone who pays attention to you, real attention, then you will remember it. Doesn't matter if the environment will be a little bit less expectation. So at the next sheet, you see a customer journey, and this is the way how we build an excellent experience at Spark. You see 12 moments of truth, and when you go to a company, you go to some kind of roller coaster, and all those moments have influence of your experience. And one of the most important moments of truth is to provide a guest and an employee both a warm and friendly welcome and a quick check-in. That's the most important thing a host or a hostess has to do. Actually, we look at all at the entire office experience from arrival until departure, and all the moments in between. So we measure 75 indicators, and then you can think of a personal attention, the way you guide to guests. If you use the name of the guest and the employee, and the way you smooth the handover the host to the welcoming employee. So I think when you are able to rate those 75 indicators in an excellent way, well, then you have a smooth experience. I think there are many insights of this research of this edition. I will give the floor to Roland, and he will tell you some other interesting facts.
Thanks, Nicole, for this opportunity. My name is Roland. I'm the co-founder of WELBO and your host today in this webinar. I have to share the key insights from the research that was performed by SPARO. In order to create a 9+ experience, it is key to create a connection between the human host and the guest, for example, or between the guest and the robot. And of course, we need to leverage technology to optimize the office experience. First of all, it is key to assess the needs of the individual. Everybody needs something else. This point is about having empathy for the person in front of you in order to create a tailor-made guest or employee journey. For example, when it rains and somebody has wet glasses when they come in, provide some cloth to clean it. Then it is very important to be the eyes and the ears for the organization, to stay alert. The guest needs to feel noticed. When someone is looking around, for example, approach and ask if they need any support, especially when they're waiting, give support. For example, provide something to drink, create an experience. You need to leverage technology to support. That can be done by using cobots such as Pepper and Temi, and they can really add value to the office experience. You need to digitize routines so that the people that are there have more time for quality interactions, and you can use the robots to drive an innovative experience. Some tasks you can automate, for example, the check-in, corporate storytelling, doing feedback surveys, even open feedback, making reservations for a workspace, lunch, or parking spot. We are even exploring robots that deliver food and drinks. And finally, in order to create this optimal synergy between the human host and the technology counterpart, such as robots, it is very important that the roles are clear and also clearly communicated. And that's a key part of the service that Spark provides to continuously optimize the interplay between humans and technology. Back to you, Nicole.
So the most important concept of today is the Office of the Future and the technological innovations. I think you have to look the next video. It illustrates how an Office of the Future can be and how you have an ultimate collaboration between the hostess and this time Pepper is called Rabot. And you also see Temi, and Temi has is the brother or sister of Rabot, and I think you see a team, both human being and both robots, but they interact very naturally together. And I think when you see this, you want to have those robots yourself and the hostess. So have a look.
You can check in with my colleague robots.
Do you have an appointment, or do you want to play the 1.5 meter game?
Appointment.
Great. Could you please tell me your name?
Isabel.
Can you confirm that you are Isabel Strickton?
Yes.
Amazing. I will let Courtney Leak Van Dam Q know that you have arrived. We're glad to have you back at work, and thank you for joining the pilot. May I ask if you have a negative COVID test?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. I can see you reserved a workplace via the app. You can go to the first floor where my robot colleague will assist you further.
Thank you.
Welcome. Glad to see you. Can I guide you to your workplace today?
Yes, I would appreciate that.
You can sit down at the indicated seats. How would you rate my service today?
Excellent job.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
I would like to speak to a host.
Right away.
How can I help you?
Hi, excellent this. Can you send somebody out to help me with connecting the beamer?
I'm sending someone right to you now.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Have a great day. I'm off to see the next guest. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for your presentation. It was really cool also to see the collaboration between Rabobank and Temi. Really nice. I also see that there are already a lot of questions about the Temi, also a few for Spark. So keep coming with all those questions. We're going to go to the next presentation. Roland, the floor is yours to tell more about why you need to deploy robots as a service. Good luck.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak and tell you more about what social robots can mean for your organization. As the other speakers have shown, social robots are here and they are helpful. They can transform the office experience to make your day just a little bit more exciting, engaging, innovative, and dare I say, fun. Let me tell you a little bit more about why we started WELBO a little bit more than 5 years ago. At WELBO, we believe in a future where robots and humans work together to create the best possible service together. And we strongly believe that robots can take the robot out of the human, because lots of tasks in today's office environment consist of repetitive work, which is not fun for the person who has to perform it. And as a result, it's also not fun for the person that they're interacting with, because they're not engaged with it anymore. And of course, robots don't mind doing repetitive work. They don't have any emotion related to telling people for the umpteenth time where the fire exits are or what the COVID regulations are in this particular building. So at WELBO, we design interactions which spark joy. And with that, we try to enable a future with helpful and empathic robots. If you want to know where you're going, it's very important to understand where you are and how quickly you are moving into a certain direction. So if you look at where we are today, I believe it's clear that we are front and center in a wave of robotic innovations. For example, drones, self-navigating drones, self-driving cars, and robots such as Atlas, which you see in the top end of the screen, which can move around. You even saw them in a dance video recently that was released. There's lots of robotic innovations happening today. And if you look at how quickly robots have been developing, it's fascinating. They're moving at an exponential speed. So, of course, I'm contrasting us humans with robots here, which is not completely fair since we are building the robots. But still, to give you an idea of the time scales involved here, it took us 2.4 million years to get from Homo habilis to Homo sapiens. And it took robots about 60 years to get from humanoid to robots such as Atlas, Temi, Pepper, the robots that we're deploying at customers today. And yeah, the fact that they're evolving at such an exponential speed makes sure that they can be used in ever more versatile and useful scenarios. So let me take you back to Unimation 60 years ago. This was a very simple robot for that day and age, which basically transported hot metal plates about 1 meter distance. And this was a dangerous job, so it was very useful to have a robot that could do it, but there was very little intelligence involved. Then we got a robot such as Shaky 51 years ago. This was a robot that was able to navigate from one end of a lab to another, an obstacles course, by itself. So it had cameras, it could detect obstacles, it could move around them. It did take it about 2 days to do so, but it could navigate by itself. You could call it the first self-driving robot in that sense. Then Honda started developing the bipedal robots, mimicking our own gait, such as the E0 35 years ago. That was developed finally into Osimo 21 years ago, and that then led to robots such as Atlas, which we talked about before. Now, if you both know where you are, and you know approximately how fast you are going, then you can end up in a vision of what this world of tomorrow can look like. And I think it's very important to stress that here at WELBO, we believe in a future where, yes, there is robotic technology everywhere, but it's not some Star Wars or science fiction scenario or a clinical setting. It's actually a very familiar world where people have more time. They like to spend more time on their hobbies. And yes, there's lots of technology there. There's self-driving cars, there's service robots bringing coffee, undoubtedly there's drones buzzing in the air, but it's actually a very familiar scene. In this particular picture, people are working on creating their own handmade chairs because they enjoy so. I mean, obviously you could 3D print chairs as well, but they prefer to make them themselves, parts of them at least. And that's because they have more time, because lots of the other jobs have been automated. That's of course the end goal of automation, is to create more free time for us humans to pursue creative work. And I think that's also what we're trying to achieve here at WELBO, with all these organizations working together to deploy social robots, is actually to make sure that us humans have more time to spend on the jobs that we find important to increasingly increase our own capacity to create the results we truly desire. Now, back to closer to home. So the near term, the robot market is really exploding right now, in the sense that although they're still a bit exotic to some, in a couple of years you will see them everywhere. I always say we're in the mobile phone moment of social robots. So I don't know if you remember when, I got my first mobile phone decades ago when I was 14, and I remember it was quite an exotic item still at the time. And lots of people were saying, my uncles and aunts were saying, why would you need a mobile phone? You can just stop somewhere and place a call with a landline. And a couple of years later, of course, everybody had one or more mobile phones. And I think it's the same with robotic technologies right now. People are saying, why would you need a robot? You can do it in a different way. Yes, of course you can, but it's less fun, less efficient, less cool. So the adoption curve will, of course, be very steep. Lots of you already have a robotic lawnmower or a robotic vacuum at home. Very soon, your smart speaker will also add wheels or eyes, and it will also develop into a small robot. So very soon, social robots will be everywhere. And if you look at what the International Federation of Robotics is saying on this current market of global public relations robots, is about 201 million, and the forecast for 2025 is for that to be about 7 billion euros. So that's a 35-fold increase. So that's massive growth happening in this space right now. So what will these robots look like? Well, their appearance ranges from the more functional, the left-hand side, to the more anthropomorphic, in the middle, to the more, I would call it, pet-like on the right. I think there are some common features here, which is they all try to mimic us, or our pets in some way. You often see the robots having smooth forms, or they have eyes, or they sometimes even have limbs and face, and that creates some sort of familiarity that makes it easier for us to communicate with them. At WELBO, we actually believe that it makes a big difference when the robots try to mimic us, because it creates some sort of experience, some sort of connection, which is not possible with a tablet on the stick or a screen on the wall, although of course they have their function as well. So what are the key drivers for adoption of robots in society? Well, there's three. There is the fact that they have to do meaningful work. They have to serve a purpose. They have to be useful in a way. They also have to be social, in the sense that they have to adjust or adapt to the user. If somebody's in a rush, they shouldn't take their time, but they should also hurry up. If they can notice that somebody is a little bit elderly, perhaps they want to speak up a bit, perhaps speak a bit slower, so that they are adjusting to the user. And third, and we believe perhaps most importantly, human colleagues have to see the robot as a valuable team member, not just as a piece of plastic and metal and a battery, but really as something that they can rely on to do their work in the best possible way. And that's why we named our company WELBO, which actually stands for Welcome Bots to Your Team, because it's not about the robots, it's actually about the team members, the human team members, that really have to embrace the robot and welcome them in their midst. So these are the robots that we work with here at WELBO. We believe in selecting great hardware. We call it the best of breed hardware. And then we provide a software layer on top of that, which allows our customers to easily configure the robots for human-robot interactions. And our team continuously builds more expertise on what works well and what doesn't work well in human-robot interactions, in order to improve this software layer which sits on top. So this software is also hardware independent. So whether it runs on temi, on Pepper, on BattleBot, or on Sunbot, you're using the same configuration dashboard. The content that you put into our system will be able to run on all these robots. So for example, if you put a dance, it will look quite different on temi than on Pepper, because of course Pepper has arms and temi is more mobile. So the way that we actually implemented this dance can be quite different, but you only have to put in the content once, which is, I think, very helpful, especially if you're making combinations between the different robots, You only need to put the content once, and it will just run on the same hardware. We are currently deployed more than 35 robots in the field today in the Netherlands, Belgium, and the United Kingdom. And I'm happy to report that these are with some great names, some big, large organizations that are present in multiple countries, but also with smaller organizations and even local governments that deployed our robots. And some of these companies have been with us since the very start. Some are more recent, but they also increased their robot fleet. So some have 4, 5, or even more robots, and are currently looking at expanding to other locations as well. So it's really, part of their process. It's not a pilot. It's not an experiment. It's really part of who they are, and it's part of their organizational identity as well. And of those 35 robots that we deployed in the field, only 2 are truly standalone in the sense that they handle all the tasks themselves, that there's no human team. The rest is all part of a human team. So it's the robot and several humans delivering service together. And that's, of course, what we're striving for, is for humans and robots to deliver the best possible service together. So what these 35 robots do, it ranges from reception services to gathering feedback, to telling the corporate story, to allowing people to register workspaces or lunch or other tasks. And we even have robots that deliver food. And we deliver these robots as a service. Robots as a service, RAS, RAS. What does this mean? Well, for us, it means that we have a subscription model, which allows our customers to always use the latest hardware version. For example, Temi has a second Temi version now coming out now, and with Pepper, we even have version 9 since 2015. And with our subscription model, we are able to always deliver the latest hardware version to our customers. Moreover, we create integrations between our software and the existing facility management or guest management platforms that our customers use. And that's how we're able to welcome people in a personal fashion. And also part of this robots as a service approach is that we are able to provide ongoing support and training, not just at the deployment, but also with refreshers as we deliver new versions of the hardware and the software, that we do content co-creation. So there might be an idea for a Christmas special or other things, then we develop our own custom content with the customers. They deploy them in their organizations. We provide templates and they build on top of that. And of course, there's the ongoing software development and over-the-air updates that we perform. So just like Tesla gets an update and can do more, that's how our robots work as well. So let's say we do minor updates every week and major updates every quarter, where the robots really become more useful with proactive approaches, detecting language and what have you. We have many items on the backlog that we're continuously working on with the development team. So our robots are connected with our cloud servers. We try to keep the application of the robot as light as possible, and all the processing, all the heavy processing happens in the cloud. So when you speak to the robot, the information is sent to the cloud, interpreted there, and the instruction is then sent back to the robot for execution. And this also allows us to provide active support, because we see what's going well, what's working well, and we also see what's not working well, so we can step in and say, hey, we can see that the interaction time is decreasing. Can we provide more original content? Can we change something? Can we change the location? We really try to improve the use of our robots. And indeed, interaction time, length of interaction time is an important KPI for us. So concretely, robots as a service mean that we provide training at the start of the deployment, and also that we provide refreshers as required. And when a customer has a question which requires custom development, we make it possible. And we operate from our Amsterdam office. We're about 6 people now, and half of the team is continuously focused on improving human-robot relations, and the rest is focused on providing service and making sure our customers are successful. So when we start with a new deployment, one of the key questions that we ask is which problem are we trying to solve here, and then we map out the existing situation with a guest journey or an employee journey where we identify, okay, what are the moments of truth? What are the key steps in the process? Here you're looking at an example of a hospitality journey, a guest journey for the reception services. So who are the key players, the guest, the host, the receptionist, the robot, and how do we measure success? So we determine KPIs that we will also monitor in our online dashboard and provide reports so that we can really assess, is this deployment successful, and what can we do to make it even more so? If it's not, what can we do to change that? So perhaps you have become curious or even a little bit excited about what social robots can do for your organization. If so, please let us know. We'd be happy to share what's possible and tell you more about the best approach for your organization. You can reach out to us at contact@welbo.eu. You can check out our website at welbo.eu, or you can just give us a ring at the number that's listed out above on the screen, +31 85 06 05 117. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Roland. It was really nice to hear more about WELBO. I saw a few interesting questions, especially about temi. So, Jeroen, I would like to invite you to turn on your camera again and unmute. And also, I saw a few questions for you, Roland. So, I think it's nice. We have some time left to do a live Q&A. If you have any questions, drop them in the Q&A and we can answer them now. Jeroen, first I have a really nice question for you. Yeah. Somebody asked, I have 250 people working in my office. How many temis would I need?
So it depends exactly what you are trying to solve with temi in your office. For example, if you only want temi for welcoming people into the office and only to be in the entrance 24/7, you know, it can be 1 or 2. If you wanted to, you know, to be around in several areas, one in the kitchen, one in the area of the workers, one in the reception, I would say at least 5 for an office such a size. But you know, we do also have some customers that provide a robot to each one of their workers or people in their facility. So it really depends the full solution you are looking to have with temi.
That's really nice. Can you mention an example of an office that's using multiple temis at the moment?
I know, for example, of an office in New York. It's a 2-floor office. They have 10 temis, and their main use is to allow, because it's the main headquarters of this company, they allow other workers from other states in the US to connect to the office. So sometimes you need 2 or 3 people connecting at the same time. So they have the robots, you know, available and waiting for each one to connect. I can give an example from an elderly facility that we're working with. So since they are, they want to provide for each one of the elderly is a personal robot because it's an apartment type of facility. So they just purchased 1 for each one, and it's, you know, 60 residents, for example. So it differs the solution that you're looking into.
Okay, thank you, Jeroen. That's really cool. It's good to know that you can also connect with multiple temis at the same time. I see another question. I think that's a really nice one because recently, maybe if you noticed, we announced a collaboration between WELBO and temi. So maybe this is a nice question for you, Roland, and feel free to say more about Jeroen. Next question. Looks great, but how much will the temi robot cost? So, Roland, would you like to answer this question because you were telling about robots as a service?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we typically work with subscriber packages where you get the robot, the software, and also our local support. So for temi, you're looking at something around 300 euros a month. And then for other robots can range between, it depends on the package, but sometimes it's like 1800. But you can get a temi robot for as low as about 300 euros a month. But I'm happy to tell you more about that. So feel free to reach out.
Okay, thank you, Roland. I have another question for you, Jeroen. I think they're curious how the temi is experienced in offices like Apple and Google. So how do people react on it?
So Apple and Google are using temi for different use cases. Apple is mainly using it to allow workers to connect, and it's similar to what I said before about the 10 units. So to allow workers to connect into the office and have meetings with people, either if they are working from home during COVID, or if they are in other locations in the US, and this is their main use. Google is mainly using it right now in their public innovation centers to welcome people and show them around the gadgets and the things that they display. But they are also, have some units around also offering the telepresence feature as well. And they are very happy with it. A customer is happy when they get one or two and then they buy more. Then okay, they like it.
Nice. So it's a bit of a combination of an autonomous mode and telepresence mode.
It's a combination of a tour guide style robot, okay, that shows around the office, and telepresence and welcoming. So this is these two companies' main use cases, but
Okay,
others.
thank you. And then I have a bit a more technical question, because the robot is driving around.
Right.
But how does temi work on carpets or stairs and elevators?
Okay, so these are three different things. Carpet, it should work on any standard carpet, even thicker ones. We've checked all of the common types of carpets. It has a way that it changes the strengths of the motors. This, for example, in a carpet, to be slower but stronger, for it to walk on the surface, and it detects the traction from the surface automatically and knows how to change the speed of the motors accordingly. Regarding stairs, so temi has all of the required sensors not to fall off stairs or not to get near a gap that it knows that it cannot cross. So we haven't heard of any situation, that it did do that. So if you have stairs in your environment, the two options would be either to lift temi up and cross the stairs, or to use two temis, depends on the environment, or to have some kind of downhill way for it to cross. Regarding elevators, so it depends. There is a solution for temi to go up an elevator and then load the map of the next floor and continue the navigation. But it really depends on the case. Usually we don't recommend this, because usually in a place where you have stairs, the robot is escorting you to the elevator, and another one should wait for you in the other floor, while the current one will be already open to the next task, which is helping another person or worker or customer. So it is possible to do, but we still recommend, to have the temi for each floor.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah. And Roland, how do you experience that at the office? Because there's a temi at WELBO as well, and I think it's also moving from a carpet to a different floor, right?
Yeah, that works very well. It corrects, and it indeed changes the speed. So we have some very good results with that. Last week, Friday, we were at Rabobank, and there they have a very smooth floor, and it also works very well. So no, good experience there.
Okay, thank you. I have another question for you, Roland. Have you already conducted research upon the employee experience and the customer experience? Mark is saying, I can imagine that service delivery by robot, or by human robot teams experiencing differently. So what type of criteria do you consider to evaluate the experience of the different stakeholders? It's a long question.
It's a great question, Mark, and I think we need to take this offline as well. But very succinctly, I think, yes, of course, we look at this all the time. Some of the key KPIs, the performance indicators that we look at are length of the conversation, rating of the conversation. So these are also KPIs that we monitor in an online dashboard. We also look at the types of content that is discussed in the sessions. And of course, yes, we do conduct research also with Maastricht University, by the way, on this topic. So happy to take this offline and talk further on this, because I think we have some interesting data to share there.
Okay, thank you so much, Roland, for answering this question. Also, Roland, thank you so much for your time. Nicole would like to thank you as well. I see that's already 12 o'clock, but don't worry, we will answer all your questions offline. If you have any other questions or you would like to receive more information, don't hesitate to contact us. We'll be happy to provide you with more information or set up a demonstration with you. But thank you so much for joining today. And yeah, everybody, thank you also for presentations. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah, have a great day.
Bye-bye.